then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kansas Speedway. We are live here with the Western States Racing League, ready to rock and rumble for 107 laps. That's going to be at just over 160 miles. We are ready to roll here. A lot of fast drivers in practice here and a pretty big field here tonight. 25 registered to roll. But before we get any further into the nitty gritty, I'm Liam Irving. Got Chris Murphy with me up here in the booth. Chris, how are you doing tonight?
Excellent, Liam. Looking forward to a great race here at Kansas. Past the halfway mark here. It's season 53 for the Western States Racing League, race number 11 of 20. This is shaping up to be a fight down to the finish. We'll pull up the point standings here real quick as we
Is
get
this 10 or
qualified going.
11?
This is 11.
Oh, we're popping up 10 on the graphic here, so we do want to apologize.
Well, it says 10. It says 10 and 11, so it's just kind of a mix right there. So you can take your choice.
Fair enough. Rocking some new graphics here, but
yeah. So we'll pull up the standings here so far. Brian Barnes came back last week, moved back up into a tie for the top spot with Wayne Hutchison. So it's Brian Barnes and Wayne Hutchison once again tied for the point lead. Jacob Jensen, winner of 3 races here within striking distance, only 6 points back there in third. Bob Beltrami in fourth. Julian Ritchie, John Kenyon, Ryan Steele, David Weaver, Bentley Glazer, Chad Stearns going to round out the top 10 right there in the standings. And we're going to jump over to qualifying here real quick.
Yeah, 10 drivers have already put down a lap. These guys want to get out here early. So far, Bentley Glazer just put down his second lap, and that is going to put him on the pole for right now. Ryan Steele just behind him. Paul Crumray getting up there.
Yeah, Glazier on the pole right now, the 30.52. Steele right there behind him with a 6.06. And Paul Crumray, a newcomer. Maybe he's been around for a while. It's the first time he was here last week for the race at New Hampshire last week. I had to bring up my old memory there for a second, but he's third right now in qualifying.
No, he's new for this season, but Paul has definitely been around before. He's kind of a veteran. He works with those old guys rule racers, and as we go through and see, here's John Kenyon, that 88 Granger machine, new paint scheme for him. Driving for FSR Motorsports, coming up off of turn number 4 to complete his first lap. Jacob Jensen, he's obviously been very strong this season. He's yet to put out a lap.
Yeah, William Fletcher, Jensen, Hollinsworth, Jeff Hollinsworth, Tyrone Harris, still all yet to get out and put a lap down here in qualifying. We still have 6 minutes left, so still lots of time left to get out there on the racetrack, lay down your best time. John Kenyon here on a pretty good lap. Let's see what he can do. Is he going to come across the line? Going to move himself. Not a great time. He's still going to be down there in 17th. So a little warm-up lap there for him. So we'll see what he can improve on his lap time. He was about 0.6 of a second off the pace on that first lap coming out of the pit. So we're getting a little warm-up lap going there. So we'll see what he can pull out here. So while we're getting qualifying going, we'll pull up last week's results real quick. Take a look. And it was Chad Stearns picking up his third win of the season at New Hampshire in a battle back and forth the whole race long with Jacob Jensen. But Chad Stearns ended up on top after starting in third position. Jacob Jensen started on the pole last week, led the most laps, but ended up in second after a late race tangle with Chad Stearns. Ryan Steele came home in third to finish off the podium. Then it was Bentley Glazier, Michael Milfett Jr., Brian Barnes. I got to get a little closer so I can read it. Bob Beltrami, Wayne Hutchison, Paul Crumary, and Tyrone Harris rounded out the top 10 last week at New Hampshire. So great race. We had quite a few caution flags in that race. It was a little bit of a tussle here and there. So we're going to see how this shapes out here tonight at Kansas. A little more racing room here at Kansas. A little bigger track, higher speeds. So we'll see who can make their way to the front here tonight as Kenyon crosses the line there for another lap. And he's going to be way down there in 15th. Not a great qualifying lap for John Kenyon. Would expect him to be a little closer to the front. But we are pretty tight throughout the field. All the way from first down to 15th is only about 4/10 of a second right now, Liam. Pretty tight.
Oh, Dustin Burns just finished off his qualifying run. He's not going to improve. Jeff Hollingsworth completed his first lap, and he's going to try to get a little bit better. Barry Phil and Julian Ricci getting onto the racetrack right now, and Chad Stearns looks like he might be getting ready to put down a lap. Just about halfway through qualifying here, and
as you can see, we've got some new graphics and stuff for you this week. Our good buddy Shane Carlson, Team SRM, has been working hard on the overlays, putting these graphics together for us, and he's been putting out some pretty cool stuff here, Liam. I'm really excited to get out here and try these for the first time tonight. We're gonna have a bunch of different stuff to bring you before it's over with.
yeah, it should definitely be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what these things look like too. It's kind of new to me as well.
See Dustin Burns coming around for his first lap, it looks like, and across the line. .31.168, so he's back there in 20th right now. But he's got another lap in here. You can see him coming down the back straightaway. Let's see. There's trying to find a good close. There we go. Cincinnati Bengals fan. Oh, gonna dive down into the pits, gonna scrub that lap off. So, and as we're looking at that, Julian Ricci moves himself up to the number 2 spot.
Chad Stearns just getting out of the race, or completing his first lap, rather, I should say. Getting that done. He's gonna get 22nd for right now with a 31.39. Pole time is Bentley Glazer with a 30.52. Got about 3 minutes left of qualifying here. Only car on track is Chad Stearns. See what he can do for his second lap here, running the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to get everything he can. He's going to cut down out of the apron, shorten this distance as much as he can, cross the start-finish line. And he's going to jump to pole. 30:49. What a blazing lap.
0.04 of a second above Bentley Glazer. So Chad Stearns, our last week's winner at New Hampshire, is going to jump to the top. Hey, Derek Lancaster in the YouTube chat. Welcome to your first time Western States Racing League. Hey, good buddy, good to see you here tonight. Hey, Liam, I don't know if you noticed this, but if do you have your whole timing and scoring up in front of you right now?
I do.
Do you see who that is back in that 21st position?
Oh my goodness, he
At it.
infiltrated the booth last weekend. Now he's infiltrated the racetrack. Alan Bergen, our very own from Sim Racing Media. He's currently got the 21st fastest lap time. We'll see if Jacob Jensen, who's just now getting back out onto the racetrack, going to be able to overtake him. He's got a new paint scheme this week, at least new to me. Obviously, I was not here last week, so if this scheme debuted last week, I do apologize to the McConey Setup Shop crew. Gorgeous looking truck, but Jacob Jensen coming across, gonna not have a strong first lap. The same deal that Chad Stearns did, running the outside, getting the momentum. A little bit loose through the middle part of the corner, but recovered on exit.
Yeah, Jacob picked up that McCroney Setup Shop sponsor just last week. Debuted this here at New Hampshire. And he had that truck in the front all night long. We'll see what he does here today as he comes across the line.
Oh, it's good for second place. He's going to be 30:51, just 1/100th in front of Bentley Glazer. And it looks like that's going to pretty much complete qualifying for us. We've still got William Fletcher, Tyrone Harris, and Vincent Price that are yet to put down a lap. But with less than a minute remaining, it seems that that's going to be all we can get. And now I want to jump into just a quick little bit of trivia and track facts. Chris, do you know who the first driver to win at Kansas Speedway was in the Cup Series?
Buddy Baker.
No.
Oh. I guess
Jeff Gordon, September 2001.
That makes sense.
Do you know who the first repeat winner at Kansas was?
Jeff Gordon, 2002.
Jeff Gordon, the very next time.
What?
Followed up by Ryan Newman, Joe Nemechek, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Jimmy Johnson, Keselowski, Hamlin, Harvick. Some of the sport's very best have gotten it done here. And it's not very often that you see one of those surprise winners like you might at, a Coke 600 or a plate track,
All right.
I would expect to see one of these guys that you mentioned at the top of the standings at the beginning of the show. One of those guys in the top 5 to win this race.
All right, that is going to put an end to the qualifying. Got about a minute and a half here to get gridded up. It looks like that. So we're gonna show you our new starting grid. I don't think we got time to show it. Probably not as they go around. We'll probably need to pull it up a little bit sooner here. I guess we're gonna pull it up right here.
Yeah, we'll start it now. We'll figure out our.
So on the front row, Chad Stearns and Jacob Jensen. Starting in the second row, gonna be Bentley Glazer and Julian Ritchie in the 4th spot. Starting P5, Jeff Hollinsworth. Outside of him is gonna be Ryan Steele. Starting row number 4 is gonna be Bob Beltrami and Paul Cremeri. And finishing out the top 10 is gonna be David Weaver and Chris Walker. All you, Loom.
Then after that, you get row 6 with Earl Weaver and James Stewart. Haven't seen him this season. Wayne Hutchison and Dalton Elkins making up row number 7. Moving on to Jeff Wills and Barry Phil, P15 and 16. Brian Barnes and Charles Woods. Barnes has been strong this season, not where he wants to start. Ron Holyfield and John Kenyon round out your top 20. Scott Kukas and Alan Bergen from our very own SRM, going to start P22. Dustin Burns and Vincent Price. Dustin was strong in practice. Tyrone Harris and William Fletcher set to round out the field. Everybody who's registered, we will update you on anybody who does not show up for the grid to take the green flag. Now, Chris, I know this is a 1.5 mile track. Everybody likes to say these things are cookie cutter, but this track is significantly different than any other 1.5 mile. We've got the progressive banking. We've got, a tri-oval compared to a quad oval. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge coming to this track specifically versus, a Vegas or a Charlotte?
That's just gonna be finding the right line. With the progressive banking like that, you're gonna see some guys running up on the top, trying to carry that momentum around. But then you can also see guys down on the bottom. If you can keep it down on that white line, the yellow line down throughout the corners, and make the track as short as possible, you can also gain a lot of ground. But tire wear can be challenging here as well. So we'll see who can. If we have long green flag runs, we're expecting probably 40 to 45 laps. Pit windows under the green flag, so we'll see who can save their tires. We've seen enough of these guys throughout the season that we know who's strong on the long runs and who is not. And Chad Stearns usually seems to come out pretty good on the long runs. So if we have long green flags, look for that 05 to stay out in front of this.
Great analysis from a driver who got an official win this season or this week earlier. That's Chris Murphy up here in the booth. Congrats on that. And of course, I got to put you on the spot. Drivers talking to each other, doing their cordial good lucks and drivers meetings. But we're going to come up off of turn number 4. That pace car is going to make the hard left turn. Chad Stearns going to lead him down with Jacob Jensen to his outside. Getting into the restart box. A little bit of contact before the green flag comes out. And there it is in the air. Green flag is out and a dead even start up front. That was a little bit of momentum down to the bottom.
Yeah, Stearns going to take the lead down the end of the turn number 1. But here comes Jensen back up on the outside. But Stearns got Glazer right there behind him. The track is just big enough. We get on these straightaways. You're not going to get a big help from a lot of draft, but you are going to get some slipstream. And you can see Chad Stearns right now moving up to block Jacob Jensen. He's trying to decide which line to block. He goes back down to the bottom to cut off that 87 of Bentley Glazer.
Well, it's kind of a tough deal. This first turn 4 run, this 3 and 4, a lot of cars getting super sideways there. You see them 3, 4, 5 wide through the middle of the field. And looks like everybody's going to be able to get through there. But going through turns 3 and 4 this first time around, definitely going to be a sketchy moment for these guys. And another thing to bring up, it's going to be similar to pack racing for the at least get-go of this thing. You're going to get big runs. You're going to have to try to find a way to get around. But the longer you run, the more handling dependent this is going to be. Bentley Glazer can hold on to the bottom right now, but is he going to be able to continue to hold that bottom throughout the course of the race?
Yeah, Bentley Glazer finds a way around Chad Stearns down there on the bottom. He brings that 97 of Jeff Hollinsworth with him. Hollinsworth looking really strong. That 97 Coast Guard truck out here today, and he is tucked up right on the tailgate of Bentley Glazer right now, giving him a good push to the front, but Chad Stearns sitting back there in third.
Moving back a little bit further, Wayne Hutchison now under fire from the 96 of Crumb Ray. That's who I saw getting super sideways coming up off of turn number 4 that first lap. He got split to the inside, split to the outside. He's getting right back on his feet and saying, all right, let's gain back what I've lost and then some.
Keep an eye up on this battle up in the front as Hollinsworth still all over the back of Bentley Glazer. Hollinsworth looks to have really good pace. I do not recognize that name this season. This might be his first race here with the Western States Racing League. Looking strong here early.
First time this season, but I've definitely seen him in seasons past. He is not one to mess with. He's strong, but we've had ourselves some changes in this series. We've had ourselves some changes in how these trucks work. Is he going to potentially overdo his stuff? He's trying a completely different line now. The outside, trying to get as much momentum as he possibly can. So you get this excellent close-up camera shot. Once again to the outside. He's moving that lane up early. And, oh, Bob getting loose down there on the bottom of Jensen. He's going to keep it straight and take away 4th place. Side by side behind him. Is he going to get clear?
So Jacob Jensen Jacob Jensen falling back 3 spots early here. Pretty uncharacteristic for Jacob, but he's back here to 5th right now. He's fighting hard with Bob Beltrami. Earl Weaver looking really stout here. Already moved up 5 spots, started 11th. We're 6 laps into this. He's already up to 6th. And he is tucked in this little group right here. He's up on the outside of Beltrami right now. And Julian Ricci. Julian Ricci changed the truck number here a couple weeks ago to 24. We're used to see him in the number 1 truck, but He is up here fighting. You'll see Julian up here most of the day long if he doesn't have any issue, and he's got the 12 trucker Ryan Steele right there behind him as well.
Yeah, Steele back here. He's traditionally jumped on and said, yeah, I work later. I don't always get to jump on and practice at the beginning of these things, so I rely on my teammates. Right now, he's running inside the top 10 pretty good, but got to give a shout out to those Weaver guys up on the top side. You see Earl and David, 46 and 16. That was a big move there by Jacob Jensen on the bottom of your screen. Cutting across Bob Beltrami to clear him. But yeah, those Weaver guys both sitting up into the top 10. I believe that's a father-son combo, and they're going to try to get as far up to the front as they can.
Yeah, Jensen.
However, the top two have separated from Jacob Jensen in third by about 1 second.
Yeah, Jensen now back up in that third position on that last podium spot, but he has still got to chase down Jeff Hollinsworth and Bentley Glazer up there in front of him. But he's able to clear the 14 of Bob Beltrami, and here comes Julian Riccio alongside of Beltrami as well to try to get up into that number 4 spot. And you can see Jensen kind of get a little separation from this group. I think they're going to reel in those top 2 here within the next couple. Oh, we got a truck around.
Oh, trouble back straightaway. Hard into the inside wall goes the 40. That's Charles Woods.
Not sure what started that. I just kind of caught that out of the corner of my eye. But Charles Wood hard into the inside wall.
Dalton Elkins in there. Alan Bergen might have gotten a piece.
Our first caution here at Kansas. We'll jump back and take a look here real quick, but it looks like Charles Wood might have got the worst of that. Let's see here. Oh, we got to go back here just a little bit. I'll try one more time. You can see Woods right there.
26 gets clipped by the 08.
Woods hard into the inside wall.
17 of Hutchison gets sent down.
And you can see, we'll jump back here again and take a look what happens here to Dalton Eck. And jump back here a little bit more. One more time here. Here we go. So you see him after the middle. Looks like he might have got a little bit loose and came up and caught the front of, is that the 08?
Yeah, that's the 08, but the 08 was also pretty low on the racetrack. He probably didn't expect him to get loose like that, but can't imagine the 26 expected to have a truck right there. Coming up off of the corner, though, these guys just came together going for the same piece of real estate.
Yeah, it just looked like, let's see if we can look inside here. Elkin's truck. That's not the right view. Now we're back on Charles Wood there. So now it looked like everybody kind of going for the same piece of real estate. 3-4 wide.
Woods might have given up.
Yeah, it looks like he might have parked it.
Maybe I can't say that out loud, but it didn't look like he was doing much recovery effort with the steering wheel down the back straightaway. So hopefully it was
everybody down in the pits except for Jacob Jensen.
Yeah, everybody.
Jacob Jensen,
Julian Ritchie, Ryan Steele stay out.
Yeah. I'll stay on the racetrack, so I think they're probably counting on another caution here sometime soon, but we're our first caution of the day here on lap number 10. Most of the field going to take advantage of this and dive down to the pits. So we're looking at what, 40 to 45 lap cautions?
40 to 45 laps on fuel. We've gone now 10 laps.
I think you're still going to have to make two more stops after. I mean, you're not going to.
I don't know. I think you might be able to stretch it now. One more stop. If we stay green,
it'd be close.
Your tires would obviously be hurting. It'd be close, but it's doable. And most of these guys look to have only taken fuel. Bentley Glazer, 6-second stop. Hollingsworth, a 6-second stop. We've got to go all the way back to Ron Holofield in 14th place with an 8.23 second stop, which you could maybe assume is 2 tires. Vincent Price, John Kenyon, and Alan Bergen all took 4 tires that time around. And Scott Kukas, a little bit of damage repair along with the 26, Dalton Elkins, Wayne Hutchison in the 17. David Weaver looks to be just getting out of his pit box now.
So a couple of our new toys here. We're going to see the biggest gainers of the race so far, and it's Jeff Willis up 10 spots. Up into 5th right now. Started back in 14th. Tyrone Harris up 9 spots along with Dustin Burns. Now up 8 spots. So we're going to play around with our new toys here so we can actually look at our anybody down in the pits for repairs. And you can see David Weaver, Wayne Hutchison both took long pit stops there, 56 and 41 seconds. So having to take a little bit of repairs there after that, being involved in that first caution incident there at lap 10.
Gonna get doubled up, ready to roll here. Jacob Jensen, Julian Ricci to his outside, Ryan Steele and Chad Stearns. Bentley Glazer, the first driver to have made a pit stop, is going to be, well, he's in 6th. He's got Jeff Wills to his inside, 5th place. Pace truck makes that left turn once again, Chris.
Jacob Jensen's going to bring him to the line. Julian Ricci to his outside. Is they're going to come across the stripe. Green flag, and Jensen, as we've seen week after week, when Jensen's out in front, he's usually really good on these starts, and you can see already about a 5-truck advantage before they even get down into turn number 1. And it's Ricci and Ryan Steele there side by side for that second position. And right behind him is Bentley Glazer, who took on tires. So we're going to see how good those new tires are going to help out, even though these guys are only on about 10-lap-old tires. But we'll see what kind of advantage that's going to give Bentley, as he's already moved back up into 3rd.
Do you just want to correct what I said? Caution's out once again. Jeff Hollingsworth potentially. Oh, we got somebody else sideways coming up off of 4. Sideways in the grass. A couple of them torn.
Yeah, we'll see if we
torn
can
up and turned around.
See if we can jump over and see what it is. It looks like it might have been Barry Phil.
Oh, they're already avoiding something at that point.
Oh, there we go. Yep. It looks like the 08 of. We'll take a look here at Jeff Willis. So it looks like he might have got a little. Oh, just got a little tap in the left rear. They're kind of come down and cross into front of Hollingsworth, and that is going to send the 74 truck of Jeff Willis up into the wall hard. Take another look at this from a little bit different angle. Let's see here. So you can see Hollingsworth down there on the bottom, and just, you know what?
The 74.
Maybe I need to slow that down a little bit.
I don't think he knew that the 96 was, or 97 was going to be there.
So we take a look here from the inside of Hollingsworth truck.
Yeah, he had no clue that 97 truck was going to be in there.
Yeah.
And, when you ride on board with the 74, he doesn't do anything egregious going all the way down to the bottom. That was a coming together between two Jeffs. And
yeah, I think Jeff Willis might want to have a talk with his spotter after that one, because he just didn't quite have Hollingsworth cleared. Hollingsworth was down there on the line, and he didn't really move up the racetrack like you said.
Well, I mean, Hollingsworth, he came off the line a little bit. It's not like he was perfectly on the white line, but I mean, if you're going to get down to that, this and that, then we may as well bring out a tape measure and try to figure out who got the first down. This is racing. You're in cars. You're going to slide up a racetrack. You're going to move down a racetrack. I love to overanalyze crashes and try to figure out what exactly happened to create that incident. But, I never want to put fault as a negativity.
So we got a few more toys in our bags. So we've got this lap chart. You can see Bentley Glazer's path throughout the race so far. Started back there in 2nd, led for quite a while, fell back to about his lowest of 6th back there after that pit stop. Has now worked his way back up into the top 3.
So 2 quick cautions here in the first 15 completed laps. This should be a single file restart, given the proximity of that caution to the restart. Take a look to see. Yeah, lights are off on the pace truck. We are staying single file. Jacob Jensen's going to have the lead over Ryan Steele, Bentley Glazer, Chad Stearns, Bob Beltrami. Jeff Hollingsworth was able to keep moving forward. 6th place. Paul Crumray and Old Guys Rule rocking 7th. James DeWer, Brian Barnes, and Ron Holofield round out your top 10. Looking back through the field, Charles Woods has packed it up. He has left. He's going to take the 25th finishing position. Scott Kukas and Jeff Wills still on the pit lane. Again, we just saw Jeff get turned around there by Jeff.
Jeff and Jeff show.
And both Jeffs, yeah, I'm sure both Jeffs feel bad about the incident,
Yeah, Hollingsworth came out a little better on the deal, so still going to be up there in 6th place, about the 3rd place truck with tires on right now, but Jensen and Steele still out in front as we come off at turn number 4 here.
But again, I want to clarify, as that caution came out, I was trying to clarify. I think those first 6 or 7 guys came in and just topped off on fuel. I don't think they took tires. As the green flag comes out, Jensen's going to get away with a nice restart. Things a little bit more orderly this time around.
Yeah, one more time, as we talked again earlier. Jensen with a good start, but Brian Steele still here in second. He's got his hands full now with Bentley Glazier. Bentley Glazier with some pace, fresher tires. I think you're going to see Glazier look to the inside as they head down the back straightaway, down into turn number 3. See if he takes a late dive. He's going to settle back in there. So Ryan Steele doing a good job holding on to that second spot for right now. And right behind the two of them is that 05 of Chad Stearns.
Oh, problems coming up off of 4. The 25 gets turned down to the inside. That's Hollifield and Vincent Price.
Hollifield in the Kenny Schrader throwback number 25 Kodiak truck. Ends up in the outside wall. We'll see if we can see what happened here. We'll jump back here and see if I can get a little better with my replays here. And you can see he just got loose off the corner there. And unfortunately, the 77 of Vincent Price didn't really have much of anywhere to go. I didn't see any contact before that. Oh, this is going to be a hard shot right here. Comes up. Oh, my goodness. What luck, found the gap sliding up the racetrack and missed everybody and hits that outside wall.
It wasn't a perfect way to hit, but it was not on the wheel.
So let's go back and take a look at it.
Oh, he might not have.
Let's see if we can get inside
Yeah,
the
this will
truck.
be good.
See if we can get in the truck with Vincent Price here.
Oh, so Price got loose on the bottom, and he was trying to carry his momentum up the track. At the same time, you saw the 25 get loose, come back down the track.
Look at that.
And it was just a coming together.
And look at that one more time from Price.
Yeah, he's just trying to come up, and
Price is trying to come
25
down.
was loose coming up off the top.
Yeah. A little bit of hard contact down in the infield. And you can see Hollifield just missed the back of, was that Julian, the 24 Julian Ricci? I think it was actually.
I believe that was Ricci, yes.
So our third caution now. Jensen still out
Pretty
front.
uncharacteristic of this series. You know, we've got 3 cautions in the first 20 laps, and I want to say the last time this happened was at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Yeah, we take a look here. We call this the wrench wranglers. Trucks that are in for repair. Jeff Willis now has been in the pits for about 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Wayne Hutchison also was in the pits for a while. Alton Elkins. So we've had quite a few trucks now in for some long repairs. I would expect to see who was that in the 25?
Ron Hollifield.
Ron Hollifield going to show up on this list before it's over with. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness, look who's the fastest lap of the race so far. Our good buddy Alan. Where is that? We've not even mentioned his name. Where's he at on the racetrack here?
So that's actually, this is the fastest 5 for the last 5 laps.
Yep.
And now that Chris Walker has crossed the line, he's got a quicker average lap time.
There we go. There we go. The best 5 laps right there. There we go. Paul Camary with the fastest lap of the race. We're still learning on new toys first. So Shane, if you're out there watching, buddy, toys are fun. Don't critique me too much here.
We can't tell you how cool this looks.
I know. This is
all the
great.
toys we've got. We look at Alan Bergen now out on the racetrack. He is sitting in P11. Pretty good from where he started, 22nd. He's going to hope for a nice, strong restart here. But he's also going to be trying to keep his nose clean. I know Alan, he's not one to... he's not going to risk it for the biscuit unless he knows he's eating.
I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking after that one, but I would agree with you 100%. But our good buddy Alan started back in 22nd, didn't qualify well, but he's all the way up to 11th. We'll see if he can hang on there in that 00 Misfits Bergen Brothers Racing. One more time here.
Not a bad start. Yeah, sorry, not a bad start for him so far. He's made it through some of the calamity, and now he's hoping to be in front of it. Another single file restart with Jacob Jensen leading Ryan Steele, Bentley Glazer, Chad Stearns, Bob Beltrami, Jeff Hollingsworth, Paul Crumray. And we've got Dewar, Barnes, and Kenyon rounding out your top 10.
We're coming off of turn number 4 to go green one more time. We're running right along here with Ryan Steele. We come off of 4. Come off the line. Jacob Jensen going to bring him to the starting zone here one more time. Jensen kind of a late start there on the green, on the loud pedal, but you can see one more time. Steele hangs with him pretty good this time. Only a couple truck length advantage, but Jensen still leading down into turn number 1, and it's going to be Jensen's, Steele, and Glazer still your top 3. Chad Stearns, last week's winner at New Hampshire, one more time, still lurking there in that 4th position in the 05.
Oh, here comes Steele trying to work that middle lane. Going to try to cut it down coming up off of the corner, and that's a decent strategy, right? You can see him closing in, getting himself a bit of draft, keeping that momentum on the outside. Jensen's going to cut that distance a little bit shorter down on the bottom by cutting the apron. Now Steele gets right behind him. He's going to try to cut down to the inside. Jensen slides up the racetrack a little bit. Momentum for the 12 as he moves down to the racetrack. Not quite enough to be able to get side by side with him down the back straightaway, but he's going to try that same thing in turns 3 and 4. Gets himself a nice run. This time Jensen's going to stay up above that white line. However, Ryan Steele still has himself a nice run. Looks down to the inside, nothing doing, getting into 1.
Coming off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, it's still Jacob Jensen. Oh, I love this shot on the wall right here.
You can see just how close some of those guys, that Bass Pro truck towards the back of the field. Now that's the 26 machine of Elkins. It's not where he wants to be at the moment. Had some contact earlier on in the show. He's going to be trying to work his way back up through the field. Jacob Jensen still holds on to about a car length lead, but take a look back at Jeff Hollingsworth.
Got himself in that 6th position after that contact back there. That earlier incident, still going to stay up here in the top 6, trying to get back towards the front. He was running 2nd behind Bentley Glazer before he had that first caution, and he came down into the pits, but you can see him right there behind Bob Beltrami in the 14 Beltrami Salami. You can see just a little bit different lines here as well. Top group
guys trying to
well.
get some clean air through the front straightaway, try to get some draft. Different agendas for different things going on with their trucks. Some of these guys are going to be feeling the heat on their tires. Other guys might be feeling the heat in their engines, depending on how much tape they put on. There's Elkins up to the top side. He's making a move on Alan Bergen. Bergen restarted in 11th. He's fallen back to 15th. And now Elkins tries to get to the inside of Dustin Burns. Looks to be a pretty successful pass. He's going to get all the way down to the bottom just to make sure he can get clear, though.
Elkins involved in one of our earlier cautions as well, trying to make his way back up through the field. Back up to 13th now. Our big mover of the race is that 88 truck, FSR Motorsports of John Kenyon. Started back in 20th, now up to 8th.
Doing a phenomenal job. Brand new paint scheme for him. Ranger all over that truck. He had NOS in the previous weeks. He's trying to chase down that Coors Light truck. That would be the 96 of Paul Crumray. Paul doesn't want to give that up, though. Differing lines getting into turns 1 and 2. Kenyon able to get down to the inside. He's going to have the nose to the door. He's got momentum coming up off of turn number 2. They are nose to nose down the back straightaway, and Kenyon going to slip that bottom once again. Put himself into the 7th position, up 13 from where he started today.
And you can see Hollingsworth looked like he got a little bit loose right there. Went down to the bottom of the racetrack to save it. And that's got Kenyon with a good run up on the outside of Hollingsworth here as well. Trying to move up into 6. Now Kenyon's up 13 spots, trying to make it one more. I don't think he's done yet here, Liam.
I don't think so. I think he was trying to get the crossover, just slid up a little bit too wide on entry. He still had the momentum coming up off of the corner. Almost gets right to the rear bumper of the 97. I don't know if he can get much closer without making contact. He's going to cross him over coming up off of turn number 4. Hollingsworth right up next to the wall. John Kenyon, he's got himself a little bit more tire to work with, able to cut back down, and he is working this bottom really well. He's going to get clear of the 97, put that 88 up into 6th place. I was trying to say 6th car. He's in 6th place. 6th car on track.
It looks like that Granger sponsorship for Kenyon is paying off for him. A good run here for John this week. One of his better runs so far this season. Now up to 6th. He is charging to the front.
Bentley Glazer scrapes the wall just a little bit coming up off of turn number 4. But I do just want to say, when it comes to Granger, I've had numerous jobs, and Granger is phenomenal when it comes to their safety equipment. This is just Liam talking, by the way. This is not SRM. This is not a paid plug. They did great with my factory.
Granger.
Anyways.
I worked with Granger for a long, long time over the years, and they're really, really good if you have an company account. But if you try to walk in there off the street and buy something, it can be a little expensive. So get yourself a company account if you're going to go to Granger. You're going to see a lot better deals, I can tell you that.
Yeah, we had, I don't know, company contract, and so we basically just had vending machines. And type in your employee number, you get the stuff. There's no charge. It's just, we want to know who's buying or getting the stuff so that if you're abusing it, we can call you out. 3 wide coming down the back straightaway here, or looking 3 wide. Elkins, little bit of damage in the earlier portion of this race. He doesn't want that to slow him down, put him up into the top 10. Strong recovery after restarting outside of the top 20 just before lap number 20.
Yeah, that tracker number 26 Chevy Silverado of Elkins working his way back up through there. That's not Ricci is not a slouch. It's not an easy truck to just drive past, but Elkins made it look pretty easy.
But Ricci gets the wall coming up off of turn number 2. That's going to cost him some time.
Yeah, we look now. I thought I'd jump over and show the front of Elkins' truck, but he just drive past James Dorr like it was nothing, and 26 moves up one more spot up into 9th. Looks like we got Barry Phil with a little bit of an incident off the track. We'll keep an eye on that. Barry down there in the 14th spot right now. We're keeping an eye on the battle up in the front, so you're not missing anything up there. We're just kind of looking throughout the pack here, trying to find some action here for you. Julian Ricci falling back a few spots, now down 8 spots. Started up in 4th, now down to 12th. And Elkins is not done yet. He's back up underneath the bottom of Paul Cremeri, trying to get that 9th spot, and he's got that 97 right there in front of him as well of Hollinsworth. Hollinsworth might have picked up a little bit of damage there in that incident with Hollifield there, Liam. I'm not sure because he's not running quite as fast as he was earlier.
One other thing to think about is the fact that Elkins came in to take repairs. More than likely, he took 4 tires at that point, too, so he's going to be about 15 or so laps fresher. I know there was some caution laps in the first 15 laps of the race, but Elkins, he's using that tire advantage, and you're seeing it work out for him as now John Kenyon works down to the inside. John Kenyon, another one of those drivers that took 4 tires. He took them on that second caution, I believe lap 12 with the lap 15 restart.
Yeah, and if we look at the graph here for John Kenyon, started back there in 20th. His lowest was down to 21st at one point early in the race, but he's just steadily been climbing throughout the field. Now up into 6th, or actually up into 5th, sorry. He crosses the line there in the 5th position, so John Kenyon just charging his way to the front in that number 88 Granger Ford F-150.
And he is closing on the drivers in front of him. He is within a 1/10 of a second of the race leader. And Chad Stearns looks to be slipping and sliding around, trying different lines to make something happen on Bentley Glazer. Can John Kenyon utilize these tires? Can these guys make it to the well, I should say make it on one more stop versus having to pit the twice that we anticipated at the beginning of the race?
Yeah, so Chad Stearns pitted back. Well, Chad actually hasn't pitted yet. So the only 3 drivers did not come into the pit yet. That's Jacob Jensen, Ryan Steele, and Chad Stearns. They're going to be hoping for a caution. If they got to pit under green, and all these other guys have already pitted under caution way back on lap 10, and a couple of guys on lap 19.
Stearns down to the inside, and remember, while Bentley Glazer did come into pit, he did not take tires. Stearns gets himself a nice run coming up off of the corner. They're going to be dead even down the front straightaway. Stearns on the inside, Glazer way outside. Shorter line versus more momentum, and looks to go in the favor of the 05 on the inside.
Yeah, but watch Glazer get a run off that top. See if he can drive down the racetrack. Watch for him to cut under. Stearns kind of keeps the truck in the middle of the racetrack and kind of blocks off Glazer from making that crossover down to the inside. There's a head down
Starks
into
did
the
a
corner.
he did a really good move there coming up off. He was pulling the slide job, but he let off just enough to be able to not use up all the racetrack, cut down a lane to cut off the crossover from Bentley Glazer. These are two drivers who have raced each other numerous times. They know each other's moves, and that was Chad Stearns just guessing the play out of the book and getting it right.
I'll give you guys a little trick out there on the
64, hold on, 64 is coming in this time. Gotta believe that Steele and Stearns are not far behind.
Jacob Jensen diving down into the pits. Comes down off the
sideways.
bank.
Oh, and here
Stearns.
comes Stearns. Big sideways. They both make it in, but is there going to be a speeding penalty?
Stearns does a great job of not running into the back of Jensen, as they're both down into the pits now for their first pit stops. Ryan Steele's going to stay out for at least one more lap. So that as we cycle through these pits, I think, we talked about probably between lap 40 and 45, and here we are in 41. I thought with a few caution flags, they might be able to stretch it a little bit longer, maybe go to 50. But it looks like they're going to have to come down to the pits, so I think we'll see Steele here coming down within the next lap or two as well.
I asked this in the most positive way, but what's the point of stretching it to 50? If you know you're going to have to come in one more time, you may as well try to shorten the length of time on your tires. If you push it to lap 50, to put it bluntly, that's 50 laps on your tires. You're going to be splitting the other ones 30 and 27.
I think the only
40, 40, 30 seems a little bit more appropriate.
I'm not the greatest strategist. I just hang on to the wheel most of the time. But, the only thing I can think of is that maybe, if you can make it to lap 50 and you get a few more caution flags late in the race, it lets you extend it on that one stop. I think that'd be a long shot. But that's about the only thing I could even think of why you tried to do something like that. But like you said, I think all these guys are destined to two stops, no matter how many cautions we have. And traditionally in these races, if we see these caution flags usually early in the race, and they kind of work themselves out as we get later in the race. So I don't expect too many cautions as we go on from here.
Well, we'll just have to see. Bentley Glazer came in for a splash of fuel on lap number 10. John Kenyon came in, took 4 tires, and those seem to be equalizing out with the rest of the field. You see Hollingsworth getting to the back of Bob Beltrami, and Beltrami has closed back in on John Kenyon. Those fresh tires are not as strong as they were at the beginning of this run. Still a net gain out of John Kenyon. He's up 17 spots from where he started this race. Phenomenal drive. I know we're only 44 out of 107 laps, but he's doing himself a really good job. That new paint scheme seems to be lighting a new fire under him.
Yeah, Kenyon looking really strong here, as we see Dustin Burns making his pit stop. And
Leader's pitting this time too.
But Ryan's still going to dive down into the pits. We expected him to come in.
Is Kenyon's coming in.
Kenyon pitted back on lap 10.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that came in to top off.
That's going to be...
He's electing to come into pit now.
That's going to mean he's going to have a 3-stop in this race.
That also leaves him with 1 set of tires after this.
Unless he just does a splash and go, but I wouldn't expect so. I think if you're going to come in, you're going to take advantage and put some tires on. Bentley Glazer now, he's going to inherit the lead back one more time. We'll take a look at our lap leaders here.
Sorry, Chris. I wonder if that had something to do with it. He saw Bentley Glazer starting to increase that gap, and he said, all right, the strategy has run its course.
That's a good possibility. And we talked when these guys pitted back on lap 10 that they may just have to still stop 2 more times after that anyway. So I think maybe John Kenyon's just taking advantage. He knows he's got at the pit one more time anyway. Just thought he'd come down and get some fresh tires on. Maybe undercut some of these guys that are going to stay out there long. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But we're going to look at our lap leaders so far. 4 different leaders in this race. Jacob Jensen has led the most at 29. Bentley Glazer is out front right now, has led 10 laps. Ryan Steele 6, and Chad Stearns has led 2 laps in this race. So 4 different leaders so far. I don't know the lead changes. I'm sure it's been a few more than that, but another one of our new toys to show you here.
Glazer continues to hold on to the race lead. Top 12 trucks are on the lead lap. Jacob Jensen is the first truck that is 1 lap down, but almost promise you he's going to be able to get back to that lead lap position relatively quickly. Dalton Elkins coming up off of the pit lane. He's going to exit right around John Kenyon.
Looks like Ricci diving down into the pits as well. So David Weaver finding himself up into the 7th spot right now with Vincent Price right there behind him. Vincent Price, our biggest mover, up 16 spots so far as we're cycling through some of these pit stops. He was involved in an earlier caution as well, so he's looking pretty good out there, back up in the top 10.
Yeah, not a bad run for Vincent at all, recovering from that earlier spin. Had a little bit of damage to the right side of that truck when the 25 came up off of the wall. He was able to keep it out of the wall. Now here comes Chad Stearns and Jacob Jensen racing. Chad's got himself a little bit of a run down the back straightaway. He's going to look down to the inside. Of course, this is not... this is for 12th place right now, 13th place. But effectively, it could be the race lead when these guys come up off of the rest of everyone pitting.
They haven't just pitted about 9 laps ago, Chad Stearns and Jacob Jensen. If we stay green, everybody else in front of them is going to have to come in soon enough. So I think you're right. This is going to be... You know, we're seeing some pretty varying strategies here tonight. We're going to see how this shakes out because, you know, we get Bentley Glazier and Beltrami, those guys that are up in the front right now. Once they come down into the pits, take on tires, you're going to have Stearns and Jensen out there on some older. It's going to see how this shakes out as if this race stays green as we're getting close to the halfway mark.
Like you said, 40 to 45. These guys are going to have to push it to, I would say, 58. And then do some saving for these drivers who came in on lap 10. That is the top 6. However, 7th place on back came in on lap 19 or later. 19 for Vincent Price, who was involved in that caution on that lap. 19 for Wayne Hutchison, who was also involved in an early incident. And 19 for Tyrone Harris, a driver we haven't really talked about a whole heck of a lot today, but he's driving that number 1 machine currently in 9th place. Just behind them, Chad Stearns, about 6 seconds behind them. Chad Stearns, he's very likely to get around them before they have to make a pit stop. But I tell you what, everybody from 6th place forward, James Dewar, you're going to have to make a pit stop.
All right, we're about halfway through this race. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the bosses like for us to pay some bills. I don't know why, but so we're gonna halfway through this race, we're gonna take a real quick commercial. We're gonna keep an eye on the race. If anything exciting happens, we'll jump right back on here. So we'll be back in just a minute. And as we said, that caution comes out. It looks like it might have been Dalton Elkins. I'm not sure why it showed up the starting grid there for me. We're going to hide that.
Still working through some kinks, and it's very, very rare in the first place that we get a caution right as we're going to break. But let's show you guys what happened here to bring out the 4th caution of the day.
All right, we'll go back here and take a look. Dalton Elkins. He just kind of looked like he just kind of drove into the wall all by himself. I don't know why I went fast forward there. Sorry about that. We'll do that. We'll try that one more time. There we go.
We need to go and check whoever's in the truck. Make sure they've got a legal BAC right now.
Oh, he just drove into the wall. He just misjudged coming off the corner.
Yeah, and he might have gotten a little tight behind that 88, but once he got out of that apron, it launched his truck back to the right. Tank slaps it, goes around a couple times.
That's going to be some serious repair. You can see that right front of that truck almost off the ground. Unfortunate there for Elkins. Yeah, that's that truck's going to need some lengthy repairs.
Well, we'll see what pit stops happen here.
So it looks like about everybody coming in. Glazier coming in. Beltrami. I think we might see Stearns. So we're lap 55. 52
Everybody on the lead laps coming in here.
Yeah,
John Kenyon's going to stay out, get his wave around.
I think Stearns.
Let's go ahead and
I think Stearns and Jensen are going to stay out. All right, we'll jump back over.
I'm talking over you.
You're fine. We'll just jump over. Take a commercial real quick. While they're pitting in, we'll be right back.
back live here at Kansas. Going to be 58 laps complete here. 49 laps to go when we take the green flag. Had to do a quick little bit of math, but either way, that just sits on the outside range of what these guys can do on fuel. Chad Stearns is the leader over Jacob Jensen, Bentley Glazer, Bob Beltrami, and Jeff Hollingsworth. The top 12 pitted, 13th through 16th, got the wave around. Jeff Willis, the first car, 1 lap down. Strong recovery from his earlier incident. It's actually 4 laps down. Green flag back in the air. Flagman's going to wave it. Chad Stearns gets a little bit of tire spin, but gets away strong.
Yeah, Chad Stearns, Bentley Glazer is able to get up alongside of Jacob Jensen. Jensen with not a great start there for him. He's usually a pretty good restarter, but actually going to lose a spot right there. And here comes the 97 of Jeff Hollingsworth all over the back of him. And Glazer with a great run off the corner. Now Glazer with brand new tires on fresh tires, pitted on lap 55. Jensen and Stearns both with about 15 old lap tires, and you can see the advantage right now is Glazer, Hollingsworth, and Beltrami all charging through the front.
Oh, we got one down on the grass. Sorry, the 08 made a very aggressive move down to the bottom. I thought he got loose, but no, he was just trying to cut that radius as short as he could to get down to the inside of Jensen, who he knows has older tires. But here comes the 17 of Hutchison on the top side of that 08. Here comes Brian Barnes in the Ford truck getting down to the inside of Chad Stearns. He's going to take away 4th. Bentley Glazer, Jeff Hollingsworth, and Bob Beltrami are your top 3 that you can see right out front of this Ford truck.
Looking from the back of Bob Beltrami, back there Brian Barnes. Barnes, we hadn't really mentioned his name all day. Started back there in 17th, now all the way up to 4th. Your point leader, actually tied for the points, was Wayne Hutchison. Barnes having a little bit better day now, up to that 4th position, and Glazer, Hollingsworth, Beltrami. So we're going to see how this works out here. Everybody's still got to pit one more time. If we stay green, Liam, this is going to get interesting because we're going to see Stearns and Jensen come in, take tires probably in about the next, I'm guessing about maybe 20 laps or so. And the rest of this field's all going to be able to go to probably about lap number 90 or 95. And so we're going to see if we go, it's going to get pretty interesting here, tire selection and tire strategy, if this race stays green all the way through.
Yeah, we'll have to see what these guys do. I can imagine somebody's going to try to take the risk and just splash and go, but still got 45 laps to go in this affair. That's just about the window of what we can expect these guys to go on fuel, and it doesn't look like anybody up front is really doing much to save.
Take a look here at Glazer, still in that 3rd position, trying to chase down Jeff Hollingsworth. You know, we haven't talked about for a while, Liam, is our good buddy Alan Bergen. Where's he? I'm trying to find him.
22nd. He's
it looks like
essentially not in the race
he's
anymore.
out of the race. So Alan, you know, we give Alan a hard time. A lot of nights he gets here in the booth, gets on here late because it's kind of late evenings for him here when he's with us, and it kind of maybe dozes off a little bit sometimes. We give him, but I don't think he would do that in the sim rig.
No, I think he might have just got caught up in something.
Take a look
I'm
here.
not sure, but
yeah, unfortunately we didn't get to see what happened to him. Didn't see him on the event log either, so we were looking forward to see where Alan could finish here tonight, but unfortunately out of the race back there in 22nd. Take a look here at Brian Barnes one more time. I'm kind of looking throughout the field. We got some close battles back here. John Kenyon trying to work his way back up. The field was up here in the top 5 earlier. Now back here in the 14th position. He did not come in and pit on that last caution. Stayed out there on the racetrack. I'm surprised he's back here as far as he is. He's got Ryan Steele right there in front of him. So Ryan Steele and John Kenyon both trying to make their way back to the front after shaking out some yellow flags here, some late pit stops as well. So, and they're actually right there, and they're in that line right there with Jensen's and Stearns as well. So these 4 drivers that all pitted about 15 or 20, actually about 20, 25 laps ago now at this point, finding themselves back here in the mid-pack.
yeah, they're gonna have to do something early if they want a chance to win. They're gonna have to try to make a pit stop early and use those fresh tires to gain time, because right now if they don't have the tires, they're just losing time.
You know, surprisingly enough, look who's sitting in that 5th position right now, Liam. It's that Ron Holyfield. Holyfield with an earlier incident hitting the wall hard, but he's got that number 25 Kodiak Chevrolet now up into the top 5 after starting way back in 19th. So nice recovery there from Holyfield, finding his way into the top 5 here at Kansas.
Yeah, fantastic recovery. We saw him hit the wall. It was pretty significant contact, but he did have the benefit of hitting with the corner of his truck and not with the wheel directly. So it doesn't seem to have affected his steering. Those guys were able to pull that fender out and make it look relatively pretty. Like you said, sitting here in the 5th position, right behind Brian Barnes. Seems to be closing in on him just a hair, but Wayne Hutchison is staying within that half a second gap too, so it's not all fine and dandy for him.
Take a look throughout the field here. Beltrami still up there in that 2nd position. He's got the 97 of Hollinsworth right there behind him. Good shot as they head down off into turn number 1, coming off of turn 2 here. Here comes our leader, Bentley Glazier, Bob Beltrami, and Jeff Hollinsworth. Your top 3. Brian Barnes right there behind him. I love these speed shots like this. It looks like we got Chad Stearns and Jensen still going at it back here. And Ryan Steele actually moving up through there. So Ryan Steele's made his way around Jensen and Stearns, trying to get back to the front. Now finds his way up into 10th with Stearns fighting back on the outside. Look at that one truck of Tyrone Harris back there in 14th as well. Well, good battle going on here through the mid-pack. All drivers that are kind of taking tires a little bit earlier and trying to cycle their way back through the front of the field.
Guys try to utilize the outside lane as much as they can, but I fear these trucks just don't quite have enough momentum, especially when you get a line on the bottom.
You can see that. You see when Jensen moved down off the banking down to that flat bottom of the racetrack there in the tri-oval. You can see how it kind of upset the truck. He had to shake the wheel back and forth just a little bit to keep it straight. So that transition on this progressive banking here can be a little bit tricky sometimes. You get down too low on that flat, getting back up onto that banking can be a handful. So Jensen doing a good job there here, back here in the 12th spot, trying to get around Chad Stearns. We are 36 laps left to go. I'm Chris Murphy with Liam Erbig here at the Western States Racing League, season 53, round number 11 of 20. We're past the halfway point of the season. It's been a heck of a season here too, Liam. Looking forward to the last 9 races after this, but we still got about 36 laps left to go in this one as well.
Yeah, up front it's Bentley Glazier. He's got Bob Beltrami right behind him. Beltrami looking for his first win on the season. Bentley Glazier, we've documented his success in recent years. Also a former champion here, but Beltrami just a hair quicker these last couple times around and actually had a phenomenal 1 and 2 compared to what Bentley Glazier's able to put down. Could Beltrami get himself his first win on the season? That's going to, of course, come at the detriment of Bentley Glazier if it does happen. Jeff Hollingsworth and Brian Barnes racing very closely behind for 3rd place.
Yeah,
and Jacob Jensen is going to make the decision to come into pit from 12th place. He's going to make the pit stop and try to get those tires, get an advantage. See what he can get done.
At lap 74, 107. We'll look at our biggest movers here in the race. Brian Barnes up 13 spots, as well as Ron Holyfield. Both up 13 spots in this race. Tyrone Harris up 11, Vincent Price 9, and John Kenyon also 9 now. As Jensen, Stearns going to come with him. Oh, they're both struggling to get in the pits. Stearns sideways. Nice save there from Chad Stearns.
That was a nice save, but were they able to get down? Were they able to get down to pit speed? Chad Stearns able to get in front of Jacob Jensen there. Huge slide out of both of them. Dustin Burns also came into pit this time.
Yeah, we don't get the
we don't get the penalty reports.
No, the NASCAR tower, yeah.
If these guys get to leave after 4 tires are completed.
All right, so Stearns and Jensen coming down to the pits. They're going to be a lap behind before they come back out of here, before they make their way out of the pits. So we're going to see how this cycles through. If worst thing can happen to them is they catch a caution now.
Oh, they're both good.
They're going to come out. They're both making their way.
14.78 for Chad Stearns, a 17.75 for Jacob Jensen. A little bit slower there, but neither one of them got held up by the speeding police.
But they are going to be a lap down, so the worst thing in the world can happen to them is if we get a late race caution here, Stearns and Jensen are going to find themselves a lap down. One of them will get the lucky dog, one will not, so we'll see how this shakes out. But right now, Glazer, they pitted back on lap 55. We are on lap 77. They can go maybe, another 15 or 20 laps, I think, before they're going to need to pit.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really been saving. It's tough to really decipher. Glazer's got himself a strong lead now over Beltrami. He was able to get a couple more tenths. It's now over to second. Beltrami has half a second over Jeff Hollingsworth. He's going to start to look in the rearview mirror. Chad Stearns, obviously, we just mentioned, he made the pit stop, came up off of the pits. His last time around 31.27. That's about a second quicker than the drivers in front, and I would imagine he's going to be able to go a little bit quicker even yet with a full lap.
29 laps left to go in this race. Everybody's got a pit except for, we got 3 drivers that have made their final pit stop. That's Chad Stearns, Jacob Jensen, and Dustin Burns. Everybody else still has to come in at least one more time. We're going to see when they start diving down to the pits how this is going to shake out. As we take a look at Julian Ricci here in that 9th position, we'll look back up here towards the front because Bob Beltrami has now got his hands full with Jeff Hollingsworth. It's Hollingsworth all over the back of that 14 Beltrami Salami Toyota Tundra. Hollingsworth to the outside, Beltrami down on the bottom. It's a battle for second and third right now. As our points leader Brian Barnes kind of looking up out of the windshield at these two, just hoping they don't do anything crazy, and he's just going to hold them that 4th spot. So, but Hollingsworth looking a little bit stouter than Beltrami right now.
Oh, they're going to switch lanes. Here comes Hollingsworth down to the bottom. Beltrami all the way up on the top. Is the 97 going to be able to utilize all of the power he's got? Here comes Glazer into the pits for the race lead. Bob Beltrami going to try to roll it through the outside. Little bit of a wiggle. Hey. Hollingsworth leads that lap. He's got the inside. Beltrami lets him through.
Yeah, and again, you saw Beltrami get down on that flat spot.
Oh, up into the wall goes Hollingsworth. Here comes Beltrami back down to the bottom. He's going to get clear. Sorry, Chris.
Oh, you're good. I didn't see. I looked away from the screen for just a moment. Hollingsworth into the fence. Sends him back. Beltrami back out in front. So let's see if hopefully I didn't do it. And he's going to come down in the pit. So Hollingsworth diving down into this last pit stop here on lap 81.
Guys are crazy aggressive when it comes into pit entry. Everybody's slipping and sliding. Bob Beltrami's going to take over the race lead.
Well, Beltrami out there in front. Beltrami's just hoping for a caution right now. If he can come down and get a pit stop. But actually, if he comes into pits now, if we get a caution, yeah, everybody it's on the lead lap right now still has to pit. So, and Beltrami's going to dive down into her in the green. So 26 laps left to go, and Brian Barnes coming with him.
Barnes gets side by side on pit entry. Bentley Glazer was able to get out in front of Chad Stearns. So Glazer should be the first driver on the track to be able to make it to the end. Jeff Hollingsworth coming up out of the pits now. Is he going to be able to hold on? No. Bentley Glazer gets around him.
So
that's going to be a pretty hefty gap. Stearns might get around Jeff as well. But does the 1 lap tire difference? I doubt it, but it could do something.
Yeah, that's good. So this is
Hutchison.
Our fight for the lead right now is Bentley Glazer and Chad Stearns.
These guys have about 3 seconds worth of separation between them. Bentley Glazer did take 4 tires when he was in the pits, though, which was to be expected.
So Beltrami coming out. He's going to come out. Him and Brian Barnes both going to come out between, right in front of Jacob Jensen. It looks like Jensen was still up to speed, so Jensen's going to power past the 14. No, not quite. Barnes and Beltrami able to get up to speed before Jensen can get there, so it looks like this pit strategy of staying out there long for Jensen and Stearns, well, actually, it's not going to work out for Jensen, but it may work out for Stearns because Stearns finds himself between Glazer and Hollingsworth, so still up there fighting for the lead, but on about 6 lap older tires than Bentley Glazier. And here comes Hollingsworth right there behind him.
A little bit loose there, getting down to the inside of Ryan Steele.
So Ryan Steele, the second place truck right now. Still waiting to pit.
He's coming in this time.
Yeah, he is on the
He's
oldest
getting down
tires
low, down the back straightaway. He does not want to risk anybody getting down to his inside. That's a sign he's coming in.
And here's our leader right now, the 08 truck of James Dewar. We had to give him a little bit of screen time. As you can see, Hollingworth powering his way past him, unlapping himself. Here comes Chad Stearns as well.
Vincent Price in the 77. He's got 13 seconds over Bentley Glazier, but his last pit stop was on lap 55. That would require 52 laps of fuel for him. Is it possible for Vincent Price to get it done?
Well, Dewar and
James
Price
Dewar
both pitted on the same lap back on 55, and Steele coming down in the pits now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Could this be a strategy? Could they try to stretch it to 52? I think that's about 7 laps too long.
If they've been working at it the whole run, it's not entirely impossible. I think it's a very, very big ask. I think it's a bigger ask than most any driver could get you, other than maybe Kevin Harvick or Joey Logano. But it is a very big ask. James Dewar, Vincent Price.
Brian Barnes and Bob Beltrami have now made their way around Chad Stearns. So it looks like that tire strategy for Stearns and Jensen is not going to work out here for him unless something happens here late in the race, because they are now falling back through this field. It looks like this is going to come down to a battle between Glazier, Hollingsworth, Barnes, or Beltrami. Unless somehow Dewar and Price can make it to the end of this race. 19 laps left to go. I just do not see that happening. But
Glazier's still got... He's got 4.3 between him and Jeff Hollingsworth. Last time around, Glazier was a 10th slower than Jeff. That math isn't going to math out to the end. Glazier's he's got himself in a really good spot as long as the drivers in front of him can't make it. Here comes Vincent Price. 18 laps to go.
We thought we were going to see a miracle, but you didn't think that was going to happen. Dewar also is not going to be able to stretch this out much longer. He's going to have to come down to pit pretty soon. So stayed out there as long as he could, hoping for a caution flag. But unfortunately, that 08 truck's going to run out of fuel here pretty soon. You're going to see him dive down into the pit. So that's going to hand the lead over to Glazier.
He hasn't come in yet, but yeah, I think your analysis of 45 to 47 being the max is going to leave him about 8 or 9 short. I just don't see it out of the Dewar truck. He does have 21 seconds of a lead, so if he wants to back it up, he can try it. But I tell you what, man, he's in trouble if he hasn't been playing this game the entire run.
Yeah, he's still hanging out there. 16 laps left to go. But Glazier's about 20 seconds back right now. And he is running, what is it, about a second, almost a second and a half lap, a second and a half to second lap faster right now. Let's see, actually, trying to get my mouse over here. Brian Barnes is finding his way around Hollingsworth, so we got a battle here for what we're assuming is going to be the second position. So second, right now it's third, fourth, and fifth with Barnes, Hollingsworth, and Beltrami.
And I know Bentley's 20 seconds back, but how hard do you push if you're Bentley?
I think, he's got a 4-second lead right now over Barnes in this battle right here with Barnes and Hollingsworth. I think you can kind of rest easy. He doesn't need to push. There's just no way Dewar's going to make it to the end unless he's got a couple gallons left in that track. And it looks like we might have Barry Phil off the racetrack. We'll take a quick look at it here.
Oh, yeah, there he is in turns 1 and 2 down on the bottom.
Oh, into the fence. Hard with that 98 truck.
Same thing we saw out of the 26.
Yep.
This time Barry was able to keep her straight.
But into the wall, you can see the damage, lots of damage on the right side of that truck. He's pancaked the side of that Toyota Tundra.
And just in front of Bentley Glazier at that.
Jump back over the live screen, looking at Brian Barnes here. We'll keep an eye on James Dorr. He's leading this race. We'll give him a little bit of screen time. We haven't talked a lot about him in this race. He's got Ryan Steele right there behind him. Ryan a lap down, who's pitted here back on lap 86, trying to unlap himself. You know, could Dorr just say, you know what, he's got nothing to lose here and everything to gain? Could he just be like, I'm just going to keep going as long as I can until it runs out?
I think that's the call. I think, you know, like you said, he's got nothing to lose. We haven't seen him a whole lot. Actually, it looks like he's coming in now. Here he is.
Yep, that was it. 13 laps left to go. So your leader is going to be Bentley Glazer with a 4-second lead over Brian Barnes.
Going to be 12 laps to go when he crosses the line. I was getting ready to say, Dewar's best bet, if he can't make it, just hold it out until the caution comes out. But, of course, that's not guaranteed. Bentley Glazer takes the race lead. He's going to have 12 laps to go, 18 miles here at Kansas Speedway. He's got 4 seconds over second place Brian Barnes. Barnes, however, comes in your points leader, and, well, Chris, it seems like he's going to be able to leave your points leader as well if he can hold on to this second place finish.
Yeah, so Glazer looking to be our 7th winner of the season out of 11 races, looking to get his first win of the season anyway for the Western States Racing League. And he has got just a little under a 4-second advantage of the second place driver, Brian Barnes. We'll take a look back here. Ron Holyfield done a great job today after an incident of, I don't know, probably about back on lap 40, I'm guessing.
Yeah, right around lap 40.
Up 13 spots, up into 6th.
Yeah, phenomenal recovery that he has had, you know, since lap number 60. He's jumped 13 positions. Since that point in the race, though, that seems like a pretty big accomplishment. Brian Barnes, since lap number 60, though, has become your, let's say, your second half biggest mover of the race. John Kenyon, big-time honors at the beginning of this race, but as of right now, Brian Barnes doing phenomenal from where he was at the midpoint of the race.
So Ryan Steele pitted. He didn't pat. Pitted back on lap 86. He's got the freshest tires in the field. Let's see if he can make his way. See if he can charge through this field. Back there in 9th right now. He's right behind the 24, Julian Ricci, and right in front of them is the 05 of Chad Stearns. I think Stearns and Jensen are both going to have to sit down after this race, talk to their strategists, and see just what went wrong today. They were both the fastest trucks out there early on, but not pitting with everybody else on that first caution back on lap number 10. Looks like it's not paying off for him. As we kind of talked earlier, you know, our last caution was way back on lap, was that 53? Actually, about 51, I think it was. So, as we talk, a lot of times you get some cautions early, and then it pretty much straightens out.
It's the way it tends to go, you know. I mean, things will definitely heat up if you get cautions at the end. But if you tend to see a flurry of cautions at the beginning of a race, it does seem to calm down towards the end.
Brian Barnes has picked up a little bit of, closed up a little gap, but not much, maybe about a 1/10 of a second on Bentley Glazer. Glazer putting down some good laps. So at last lap by, Barnes was about a 1/10 of a lap faster. But with only 7 laps left to go in this race, that basically 3 1/4 seconds is just unmanageable right now for Brian Barnes. Bob Beltrami with a solid run here in the top 3. He's got Hollinsworth within striking distance. But Bob looking really consistent here, and he may actually be picking up a little bit of ground here on Brian Barnes for that second spot. See if we can find a little bit of battle here.
Up here of keeping things clean. Nobody wants to see caution within these last 6 laps. Coming up off of turn number 2, though, this is a battle for position. Julian Ricci trying to take away 9th place from Paul Crumray. 96 machine has been, he's had himself some ups and downs today, and we also saw him involved in that bigger accident at the beginning of the race, but he's done a nice job recovering.
Yeah, and what you can see right there from that cockpit shot there of Julian Ricci through the corners. You can see it again right here. Look at the different lines, and they're both working really well. Ricci right down on the bottom, Cramieri way up on the top. And you can see it gives Cramieri just a little bit better run off the corner. You can drive the truck down off the hill. But Ricci doing a really good job right here. Just a great example of the different lines here at Kansas Speedway.
Jacob Jensen doing a pretty good job there. Coming up off of turn 4, he's going to have a nice run on Julian Ricci, try to get himself up into the top 10.
4 laps left to go, and it's Beltrami and Hollinsworth here now fighting it out for third. Hollinsworth within striking distance, trying to close up on the back of that 14. Did you see where Barnes was running up there? Barnes is way up against the fence there.
He's trying to hit that Kyle Larson line.
Barnes, one of the old veterans here at the Western States Racing League. Putting down some good laps here. Again, about a tenth slower there than Bentley Glazier on the last lap. 3 laps left to go. This is all Bentley Glazier here out in front. He has been consistent all day, stayed out of trouble, called the right strategy, and he has over a 4-second lead back to Brian Barnes right now. So Glazier's race to win as he crosses the line with 2 laps left to go.
Yeah, last time around, he was a 10th quicker than Brian Barnes, and that gap is just going to continue increasing. Bentley Glazier, he's been a staple in this series for quite some time. He's a previous champion. We saw him win numerous races just a couple of years ago, but I believe, as you mentioned, going for his first win on the season. Takes the white flag.
Last lap here for Bentley Glazier.
Sorry, I was going to say that P&P Chevy Silverado looking phenomenal. The blue and yellow colors.
Looks like Ryan Steele might...
Oh, he's just blinking.
He's just blinking. Yeah, okay. He was moving down the... I think he lost a lot of ground.
Bentley Glazier going to come up off of turn number 4. Get himself the win here at Kansas. Checkers in the air. Bentley Glazier gets it done. Brian Barnes going to finish second over Bob Beltrami. Fourth place, Jeff Hollingsworth. Then we've got Wayne Hutchison, Ron Holyfield, Chad Stearns, Paul Crumray, Jacob Jensen, and Julian Ricci able to hold on to a top 10 position.
That is 107 laps here at Kansas. You know, we had some cautions early on, 3 or 4 cautions early on in this race, but the last 50 some odd laps ran green flag all the way through, and Bentley Glazier found his way to the front.
Bentley Glazier's gonna burn it down here on the front straightaway.
And we come with you with a Sim Racing Media burnout cam. It's Bentley Glazier, the number 87 truck, picking up his first win of the season for the Western States Racing League here at Kansas. And we'll bring up our podium finishers. It's going to be... Well, the results aren't quite up yet.
Yeah, we'll run through our results here. Then we'll see what we can get with our podium guys. Gotta wait for...
There we go.
I think we gotta wait for Dustin Burns to get across the line. He's damaged. He crashed on the last lap.
Is he still crawling across? He's
trying. He was avoiding the burnouts.
I don't think he's really trying. I think he's playing bumper cars.
He avoided the burnouts, and now I think he's playing bumper cars. He's gonna try to come across the start-finish line. But while they're doing that, I don't think so either. Let's go ahead and bring in Bentley into the booth. Bentley, it's right. Chris and Liam. It's Liam and Chris up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, that was not straightforward by any stretch of the means, but you got her done, and you had definitely the strongest second half strategy. Before we dive into details, man, what's it mean to get back to victory lane in a series you've been so strong in before?
Feels good. It's been a while since I've won, so it took some luck. I got that caution right at the end there, or during the first run, that saved me.
Well, yeah, once you got that caution, you got the track position. I believe you actually came in for a splash and go under that lap 10 yellow.
Yeah, I
Um,
got Chad and Jacob off sequence with me because they're going to be really hard to beat. I don't think I had their speed, but with that caution, they were kind of off center on their tire wear.
Now, was the anticipation with making that lap 10 pit stop, did you think you could maybe make it on one more stop, or did you know you had to make two?
I thought you could make it on one, but you had to be two. That's why I pitted, but then I was like, oh, why did I do that? But it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely did. Numerous different strategies here at the end, but your speed got you up front along with your strategy. Who helps you get it done? This number 87,
Uh,
the P&P Chevy Silverado. Who do you want to give a shout out to for such a strong run?
Got to thank my teammates. They were the ones who said we should pit for fuel, and I copied them, and that was the race-winning move.
Well, awesome stuff, Bentley. Congratulations once again on the race win. We look forward to seeing you. Geez, is it the Roval next week?
Oh boy, I'm not good at that.
I'm not either. All right, we'll catch you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, and then we've got second place Brian Barnes. Chris, I think you got him.
Brian, Chris, and Liam here in the booth, buddy. Good to talk to you again. How was your day out there today at Kansas?
Hey, can't complain at all. Another decent finish for the old 4 team.
Hey, you look solid out there all day. You kind of, you know, you were out towards the back, started back there in 17th. Not a great qualifying run for you. Did you guys just miss the setup there in qualifying, or?
I missed the line. Yeah, I I guess I was trying to I don't know what I was trying to do, but I flat missed it in qualifying. So, yeah, I had a long way to come.
Yeah, great run for you. It seems like we're talking to you just about every week here. You came into tonight lead tied for the point lead with Wayne Hutchison. Wayne finished back there in fifth, so I would have to safely assume you're going to leave here at Kansas after race 11 with the point lead. You got 9 more races to go. How you feeling about the rest of the season?
Well, looking forward to it. Yeah, I can't yeah, taking the red plate right now, that's cool.
Well, before we get out of here, are we at the Roval next week? Is that right?
I believe so.
How you on the road courses?
Decent, but the Roval is one of my most feared. I never that good at that place.
Well, let's just hope it doesn't rain in North Carolina next week. So, hey, before we get you out of here, you have anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Now, thank you guys for doing this for us, and thank you for Bobby for putting on the WSRL for so dang many years.
All right. Well, good talking to you again, Brian. We will hopefully talk to you again next week. Have yourself a good week.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, then we got third place Bob Beltrami up in the booth here with us. Third place finish. Super strong run for you today. You've been strong over these last 5 or 6 weeks, Bob. What's gotten into you?
That's a good question. I feel good to be up here talking to you guys. It's nice to get a podium. It feels like it's been a very long time. So, yeah, just the car was good tonight, and I was able to keep my position up front for once, and somehow, here we are.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you haven't been on the podium, but we've seen you knock on the door. You've been in fourth, fifth, and sixth numerous times, especially within the second half, or I should say the second quarter of this season. What's kind of been the shift for you? Has it been tracks, driving style, mentality? It's noticeable for sure.
Well, I think, I've been doing this for a really long time, and you can put a certain amount of stress on yourself trying to put together good finishes, and I guess I'm just trying to relax a little bit more and just enjoy the driving, and that seems to be working because I know that when I'm getting up out of the chair, I'm having a good time. So what can I say?
That's a good question, Bob. What can you say about the driving here tonight? It seemed like after those first couple of cautions, things really cleaned up and you were able to run pretty near anywhere on the racetrack that you wanted to, and driving was clean all around.
Yeah, I was fiddling around with the high line a little bit, but I was that no matter what I really tried, I was fastest down low. Really, the moment for me in the race was when Brian and I went in for that last pit stop, and he really just ate my lunch going in, and then was in front of me by the time we got exited. So, doggone it, I gotta work on my pit stops and see if I've got something for Barnesy next time we get together.
Hey, I'm gonna jump in here real quick. Liam, Chris Murphy, Bob, how you doing there, buddy? Hey, you know what?
Good, Chris.
It's we used to race against each other back in the late '90s when you guys first started Western States Racing League back on the old NASCAR Papras days. So really great to see the old guys out here, basically you and Brian schooling all these young kids out here tonight at Kansas in the trucks. Just a great run for you there, Bob. Really good to see you up there in the front.
Not forget about Paul and the old guys rule team.
Yeah, I think we do have a fairly mature group of guys here in the WSRL, and I'm really thankful for everybody who comes out and races because I hope we put on a good show because it sure is fun to drive in because for the most part, we, have a lot of clean racing. And, like you said, tonight, once we got over those, first initial bumps at the beginning, we were good to go. And it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, Bob. I'll just jump in and say I haven't seen many leagues where you can run a full 160 lap caution free race at Dover or at Iowa. But you guys have been able to pull it off, and that camaraderie that you guys have is it's fun to see. I enjoy tuning in and being up here. But I tell you what, man, if I wasn't up here, I'd be begging to be down there with you guys because this looks like so much fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we sure appreciate you guys taking the time to come out and broadcast for us. It's much appreciated.
Well, who else helps you get it done on that Beltrami Salami Toyota Tundra? Obviously, we're great, but like, who helps you get it done, and who helps the league get it done?
Well, as far as the league is concerned, there's really not a whole lot that has to be done. I mean, it kind of runs itself after a certain amount of time. I have to put up a drivers meeting and just make sure the thing, gets set up for the week. But really, the fun is behind the scenes with my teammates, Brian and Wayne and Ryan Steele. The guys on Dog Bear just have a great time. They have a great attitude, and it's just a ton of fun to race with these guys.
Awesome stuff, Bob. We can't thank you enough for joining us, both as a podium finishing driver and the league owner, giving us a little bit more insight. We're gonna let you go on celebrate with your guys, but congratulations once again on the podium finish.
Thanks again, fellas. Have a great day.
All right, well, that's gonna about do it for our interviews here today.
Yeah,
Bentley Glazer gets the race win over Brian Barnes and Bob Beltrami. Rounding out your podium, Jeff Hollingsworth in fourth place, Wayne Hutchison fifth, Ron Holofield in sixth, Chad Stearns, Paul Cromray, Jacob Jensen, and Julian Ritchie round out your top 10.
Yeah, back there in 11, it's going to be Ryan Steele. Ryan pitted late, tried to get back up through there, but was only able to make it back up to 11th. James Dorr tried to stretch out that field miles late, was leading late in the race, going to come home in 12th. John Kenyon, I really thought John had a stronger run. He was up there in the podium spots early. As John's going to come home in 13th. Tyrone Harris 14th. Dustin Burns 15th. Vincent Price 16th. Jeff Willis and Earl Weaver going to come home there in the 18th position. Back there in the 19th going to be Barry Phil. Dalton Elkins 20th. David Weaver. Alan Bergen, our Sim Racing Media broadcast partner. Not the day he was hoping for. Going to come home there in 22nd. Chris Walker.
Well, like you said, it was past his bedtime.
It might have been past his bedtime. Scott Kukas out early, and Charles Wood was our first retiree. As everybody likes to say here at SRM, Charles Wood won the race to the beer stand back there in 25th, and 26 William Fletcher did not take a lap in this race. So, Liam, another exciting race here for the Western States Racing League. This has just been a fun season to cover. I don't know how you are about road courses, but we got the Roval next week. What do you think we're looking forward to there?
Well, I tell you what, man, I think it's going to be a good show. It's going to be interesting because we're not going to see any yellow flags due to the iRacing rules. But it's going to bring so many challenges to these drivers, and there is always going to be the risk of a mistake. Whether it's the first lap or the last lap, whether you're in first place or you're battling for a top 10 spot, the risk for a mistake is always there. These guys are going to have to be perfect next week if they want to win the race. There's only going to be one way.
Yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it is Tuesday. Next Tuesday night.
Next Tuesday night, it'll be 10:20 Eastern, 9:20 Central, 8:20 in the Mountain Time. Let's not forget about you folks. And 7:20 on the West Coast. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. It's been a blast. We cannot stop talking because we have so much fun, but we're going to. I'm going to stop talking now and let you guys have a good night. Just that friendly reminder, as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Have a good night, folks.